Hello students, welcome to the class. Today we will see size of octahedral and tetrahedral voids. So, if R is the radius of spheres and these spheres form one void and small r is the radius of the void, then there must be some relation between radius of the sphere and radius of the void. For octahedral void, this relation is radius of the void is 0.414 times radius of the sphere forming the void, and for tetrahedral, the radius of the void is equal to 0.225 times radius of the spheres forming that tetrahedral void. Now we are going to find out how we can derive this relation. First we will see this relation for octahedral void. Now octahedral void is formed by 6 spheres. These 6 spheres, 4 they lie on one plane. One is above the plane and one is below the plane. So 4 lie on one plane. One lies above the plane, one lies below the plane. Now we will see only 4 spheres. We are not considering the sphere which is above the plane and which is below the plane. So suppose one octahedral void is formed by 6 touching spheres and out of them 4 are represented in the board. Now if we join the centers of these spheres, we will find one square. Suppose the square is A, B, C and D. Then AC is the diagonal and this small part is this is the octahedral void. So let us consider A is the side of the square. So A is the side of the cube. Let us consider A is the side of the square joining these 4 spheres. Let us consider A is the side of the square obtained by joining these 4 spheres. So side of the square obtained by For octahedral void, let us consider A is the side of the square obtained by joining these 4 spheres. So AB is equal to, since it is a square, AB is equal to BC is equal to CD is equal to DA, all will be equal to A. So A is the side of the square obtained by joining these 4 spheres forming the octahedral void. And capital R is the radius of the sphere and small r is the radius of the octahedral void. Now from triangle A, B and C, this is a right angle triangle, B is the right angle. So AC is equal to root over AB square plus BC square. Since AB and BC both are equal to A and A, so AB square is equal to A square, BC square is also equal to B square. So we will get root 2A. Again, AC is equal to, now you see, AC is the, so this is AC, suppose. So AC is, this is A for C, and at the center we have this octahedral void. So this portion will be R and this portion is twice R and again R. So AC will be capital R plus twice R plus again one capital R. So we have 2 into R plus R. So now we have AC is equal to 2 R plus R and also AC is equal to root 2A. Then AB is equal to, AB is the side of the square. So AB is equal to A. Again, both this sphere 1 and 2 both are touching each other and therefore it will be twice R. AB is equal to twice R. Now the ratio of AC by AB is equal to root 2A by A. Also it will be twice R plus R, then twice R. 2 will be cancelled, A will be cancelled. We will get root 2R is equal to R plus R. Root 2R we know 1.414. R minus R is equal to R. Therefore, R is equal to 0.414 R. So, R is equal to 0.414 R. So, in short, I am going to explain it again. We know octahedral void is formed by 6 spheres, and these 6 spheres, 4 lie on a plane. One is above the plane, another is below the plane. We are considering only these 4 spheres that are lying on one plane. Suppose this is the plane of this, suppose this board is the plane on which these 4 spheres they lie. So if we join the centers of these 4 spheres, we will get one square. If A is the side of that square, therefore AB, BC, CD, DA all will be equal to A. And we are considering R is the radius of the sphere and small r is the radius of this small octahedral void that are formed by these spheres AB and CD. Now from triangle ABC, from triangle A, B and C, AC is equal to, from this we will know that AC is equal to root over AB square plus BC square. From this we know it will be root 2A. Again AC is equal to twice R plus R. How we get it? We get it from this diagram, right? A is the center of this sphere, C is the center of this sphere. So AC will be R. So AC will be R plus twice R plus again we have R. So it will be 2R plus R, right? Now we will consider the ratio AC by AB, and from this we will get that the size of or the radius of this octahedral void is equal to 0.414 times the radius of the sphere forming it. Now we will see the relation for tetrahedral void, relation of small r and capital R for tetrahedral void. So tetrahedral void is formed by 4 spheres. If we place these 4 spheres on a cube, then they will occupy 4 alternate corners. So if we draw the cube, it will be like this. This is the cube. Suppose we have one atom here, then at alternate corners other spheres will be. And for this cube, this line A, B, C, D. So AD is the body diagonal and AC is the face diagonal. And the tetrahedral void will lie on the center of the body diagonal. So tetrahedral void will be at the center of the body diagonal. So tetrahedral void is formed by 4 spheres, right? And if we place these 4 spheres on a cube, then they will occupy 4 alternate corners, and the tetrahedral void will be at the center of the body diagonal. So in this case, the body diagonal is AD. Now look at AD. At A we have the sphere, right? We have the sphere whose radius is R, and touching this A we have the tetrahedral void. Center of this tetrahedral void is center of AD, and this position is empty. Therefore this part, half of AD is equal to R plus R, where R is the radius of this radius. So this is half of AD is equal to radius of the sphere and radius of this tetrahedral void. Now from triangle AD or triangle ACD, we know that AD is equal to root over AC square plus CD square, and AC from triangle ABC, AC is equal to root over AB square plus BC square. AB and BC, they are side of the cube, and if A is the edge of a cube, then AB square is equal to A square, BC square is also equal to A square, so we will have root 2A. So now placing the value of AC in this equation, we will get that it will give us root 3A, since CD is also equal to A. Okay, and AD we already found out that half of AD is equal to R plus R. It implies AD is equal to twice R plus R. Now for AC, we know AC is root 2A, right? AC is equal to root 2A, and AC is also the sphere at A and sphere at C, they are touching each other, so it will be twice R. Therefore AD by AC is equal to root 3A by root 2A is also equal to twice R plus R twice R. 2 will be cancelled, A will be cancelled, and we will have root 3 by root 2 is equal to R plus R, or root 3 So root 3 by root 2 will be equal to r plus r by r. So root 3r minus root 2r is equal to root 2 small r. Therefore r is equal to root 3 minus root 2 by root 2, or if we simplify it we will get this relation, and putting the value of root 2 and root 3 we will get 0.225 r. So therefore for tetrahedral void r is equal to 0.225 of the radius of the sphere forming this tetrahedral void. So this is how we can calculate the size of the tetrahedral and octahedral void. Now we will see the radius ratio rule. So this is found in case of ionic compounds. So till now we know that if r is the radius, r means the capital R. So if capital R is the radius of sphere forming one void, and if small r is the radius of that void, then there is a certain relation between these two terms. For example, for tetrahedral void it is 0.414 r. For octahedral void smaller, radius of the void is 0.414 times the sphere forming the this octahedral void. So in case of ionic compounds, the anions usually form the close packing structure, and the cations they occupy the voids. So there must be some relation between the size of the anion to the size of the cation. This is expressed by radius ratio rule. So radius ratio is nothing but radius of cation by radius of anion. So radius ratio is nothing but radius of cation by radius of anion. Now this radius ratio, using this radius ratio we can determine the coordination number and the structure of the ionic solid. So what is coordination number? Coordination number is the number of oppositely charged ions surrounding each ion. For example, in sodium chloride, one sodium atom or each sodium atom is surrounded by 6 chloride ions. So here coordination number for sodium ion is equal to 6. Similarly for chloride ion. Similarly in cesium chloride, suppose we are going to find out the coordination number of chloride, then one chloride for in cesium chloride is surrounded by 8 cesium ion. Therefore coordination number for chloride in this case is 8. Okay, and also one cesium is surrounded by 8 chloride ion in this case. Therefore coordination number of cesium in this case is equal to 8. So this is called coordination number, and we can find out the coordination number using the radius ratio rule. For this we have one table, and the table looks like, so the table looks like this: radius ratio, coordination number, structural arrangement and example. If the radius ratio lies between 0.155 to 0.225, then coordination number is 3 and structural arrangement is trigonal planar. An example is B2O3. So if the radius ratio lies between 0.225 to 0.414, then coordination number is 4, structure is tetrahedral. Example Z and S. Similarly, if it lies between 0.414, coordination number would be 6 and it will be octahedral structure. Example is sodium chloride. Similarly, for cubic we will find that coordination number is 8, and in this case the radius ratio will lie between 0.732 to 1. An example is cesium chloride. Suppose one question comes like this: if the radius of the cation is x and radius of the anion is y, then what is its coordination number? Then what we will do? We will find the radius ratio xy. Suppose this radius ratio is 0.323. Now we will see this 0.323 lies where? It lies between 0.225 to 0.414, right? So for this radius ratio, coordination number is 4 and structure is tetrahedral. So in case of this radius ratio, coordination number will be 4. So by this we can calculate this. We can find out the coordination number and the structure if we know the radius ratio, or if the radius of cation and radius of anion is given. Now we will see density of unit cell. So density of the unit cell is equal to density of the substance. So if density of the substance is known, then this also will be the density of the unit cell. The density of the unit cell can be calculated from the edge length A. So we need the edge length of the unit cell A. So A is the edge length of the unit cell. Now we know that density is equal to mass by volume. So density of the unit cell is equal to mass of the unit cell by volume of the unit cell, right? So density is equal to mass of the unit cell divided by volume of the unit cell. If A is the edge length of the unit cell, then for a cubic system volume will be A cube. So we know that volume is A cube. So now here volume of the unit cell is A cube and mass of the unit cell is equal to mass of one atom multiplied by number of atom per unit cell. Number of atoms per unit cell. So mass of one atom is denoted by M and it is denoted by Z. So therefore mass of unit cell can be represented as mz. Now mass of one atom, again you see, mass of one atom is equal to what? Atomic mass by Avogadro's number, and atomic mass can be denoted as capital M divided by Na. Therefore density will be mass of the unit cell is what? Mz, where M is N by A, or we can say M by A, M by Na into Z, right? So let me write it once more. Is equal to mz, which is again equal to m by Na into z. Therefore, mass of the unit cell is m by Na into z and volume of the unit cell is A cube. So, rearranging this, we will find that density is equal to mz Na mz by Na into A cube. So, this is the density of the unit cell, where capital M is the atomic mass of the substance, Z is the number of atoms per unit cell, Na is the Avogadro's number, and A cube, for A cube, A is the edge length. Now, this is valid for elements like for density of aluminium, density of gold, then this is valid. But for ionic solid, the formula will be same, but for ionic solid, M represents formula mass, and Z represents number of formula unit, present per unit cell. So this is for today. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Bye bye.